Okay, yeah. My name is Pharmacist Ifeanyi, and I run a platform called Kanselor University. It's actually an online training platform, and what we do is to offer insights to business owners like you guys that can really help you to grow your sales, so that at least every month, at every year, or during every review period, people can actually say, or the management can actually say, your branch was one of the most successful branches. So today we are going to be looking at, okay, and before I go further, I want to say thank you for inviting me to Medplus. It's actually a privilege to come and speak here. I think she was the lady that attended our program, the open session, and I want to say thank you too for telling the management about it, so that they would also want to get all of you to experience what they learned at the last session. Now, because of the time frame that we have to work, we might just skip through a lot of things and send the materials across to you. So, before we start, I want to do a little exercise, or rather, the topic we'll be talking about today is what I've titled Mastering the Act of Creating Happy and Loyal Customers. Now, there are certain basic skills that when you understand and you start to implement in your different branches, you find yourself excelling where other branches might be having challenges. Or you find yourself rising above the water where other pharmacies might be having challenges. Because there are little tricks that if you understand them and implement them in the pharmacy or in your branches and your units, you find your unit doing very well. So I want you guys to actually learn some of the things that we'll be sharing with you. So the things I want to share with you guys are the things that with you, when others are saying, no, the economy is tough, things are difficult here, you can actually stay where you are and you are producing the results that are driving change, and people are wondering, what is happening here? So the first area that we'll be touching is what I've titled Customer Attraction Gear System. What are the systems that if you can understand? Because if you know how a gear system works, it works like a wheel with teeth. As one is turning maybe clockwise, the other one is turning anti-clockwise, but as if they are running in different directions, but at the end of the day, they are giving you a result you're expecting. So what we are going to be looking at is what are the systems that when they work together can give you very good sales in your own branch and in your own unit. The first thing that you must understand very well is that you must be clear about what the person who employed you expects from you. You must also be clear that, see, every business owner has two things that are interested in. It doesn't matter what you are told, or when you are being employed, there are two things that are important to all business owners. Number one is, how do I grow the revenue of my business? Number two is, how do I cut down cost? Now, if at every particular point you are asking yourself, how do I grow the revenue of my boss? You are guaranteed to move from where you are to a higher position in that organization. If at every particular point you are asking yourself, how do I reduce the operating cost of my branch? You are guaranteed to ensure that at any particular point, your stay in your branch is assured. Now, but how does this affect your customer? I always share this example of somebody who was working in a branch and they had only 2 parking positions in the branch. And every time the boss comes, she will occupy one of the parking positions, leaving only 1 parking position for the customer. And sometimes too, when she comes and there are 2 cars, customers parked there, she will ask her people to come and ask one of the people to move out so that she can park. Now you ask yourself, assuming you're a staff there, how can your sales grow if the only point you have to maintain a customer is just 1 parking position? What the staff there, for them to have made their customers happy, what they needed to have done was to call their boss in a meeting and say, see, we're having a challenge with the parking space for our customers. There is a nearby street that you can actually go and park. Now, one of the staff came to complain to me. And because of that, because they were, imagine you're a customer, you came into a branch of Medplus to buy something. And all of a sudden, somebody is telling you, madam, please, can you go and move your car? Our boss wants to park. If you're a customer, how will you feel? Now, because these people have not actually sat down to say, our boss needs to help us to make our sales to grow, to help make our customers happy. They left it like that, and they were having tons of dissatisfied customers, and every time they were complaining that their sales were going down. In your own branches, in your own units, there are different areas that you can actually say, if the management of Medplus can actually make this adjustment, our sale can go up. And most times we see these things and we are looking at, well, I'm not the manager of the branch. It's not my job. But just like this session now, sorry, what's your this in your branch? Okay, what position are you there? You guys are experiencing something like this because somebody, a farm technician, not even a manager, not even a pharmacist, attended an event like this and saw that it would be beneficial to the system. And she communicated it to the management, and almost yesterday we had, this room was filled up yesterday. And all of you are getting this benefit because somebody saw something that could actually help the organization. And she now said, well, let's bring this in and repeat this in so that everybody in our system can get you, share in it. The question to you guys is, in your different branches, have you actually sat down to look at the branch and say, I think maybe the way we are opening the doors to the customer, maybe if we make it easier. For instance, let's look at even the issue of opening doors. There is a pharmacy I went in. Normally they had the handle to the door, but for certain reasons something happened to the handle and it pulled off. And what they do was just to use a plaster to seal up the place. Now there are certain people who don't want to actually use your hand to push the glass. And without them knowing it, they had actually started to dissatisfy some of their customers. And all it would take to fix that door was for somebody to tell the owner of the business, this door needs to be changed. I know it won't happen it doesn't happen in Medplus. But there was a seminar, something like this we organized in Aba. Can you remember? The hall had about 200, let me say about 50 light bulb units where you can put light bulbs. But in a room that is about maybe this size times 4, it had less than 3 bulbs working. Now, all those bulbs did not die one day. They were actually dying one, maybe a month, one in 2 months. But because nobody said, let's tell our boss about replacing those light bulbs. And one day they came, out of about 50 light bulbs, only 3 were working. For you to be able to make your customers happy, you must actually start to build up the courage to, when you see something going wrong, or not necessarily even seeing something going wrong. When you see an area that needs improvement, you actually walk up to your boss, or if you guys actually have corporate communications, do a mail to your boss and say, this area needs to be fixed. And when you start things like, and luckily for you, people have an organization that actually listens. Because if they don't listen and something like this was communicated to them, they'll say, why do we need to do anything about it? So you might be assuming that they will not listen. But if they can listen to bring you guys together to actually share in this opportunity, it means that if you actually communicate certain things to them, there are decisions that only your bosses can take that will make the changes that you need to grow your sales. So my first assignment to you guys is, once you get back to your different branches, start to look at the things I say, these are the things that we might need to do to improve sales in our branches. The second area that for you to be able to make your customer happy is your colleagues. Because I'm addressing you each person as an individual. I don't want you to look at this seminar or this talk as a group Medplus thing. Because when they are paying you salary, what's your name? Fumilola. And what's your name? Sorry? Amakade. Makinde. Okay. So when they are paying Fumilola half salary, they are not saying, okay, because we also have to pay Makinde, let's pay them together. She gets her own separate alert. He gets his own separate alert. The day she doesn't perform, it doesn't mean that he will not get his own alert. But what you also need to realize that if she doesn't perform consistently, it affects the branch. And if both Makinde and Fumila are the same branch, the day they say, okay, this branch is not doing well, let's close it down. How many people are going? Is it just Fumilola? everybody there. So you need to understand that your colleagues' performance reflects a lot on your own performance and stay in the organization. The question is, how many times have we made suggestions on self and performance improvement to our colleagues? When was the last time we saw our colleague not doing something right and we say, guy, I think if you actually start to do this thing, your performance will get better? Sorry? Okay. There's something that we asked yesterday. In your branches, how many times do we have our monthly meeting or weekly meeting? How many of us, when was the last time we had a monthly meeting? Sorry, which branch are you in? Okay, when was the last time we had a branch meeting? Sorry? Last month. What day last month? Can you remember? First week. Before then, how often do you have it in a month? Now, imagine that, let me share with you how there's something called broken window principle. Assuming you want to turn the front of this place, Medplus, into a garbage dump, do you know how to do it? Very easy. For one person to drop a pack of tasty fried chicken, empty pack in front of them, and as the thing is there a day, 2 days, nobody does anything, and a corner man comes to drop somebody and sees that Mr. Big's pack there, and because of that dirty pack there, he reads his old ticket and drop it there too. Now, because there's the dirty pack from the takeaway and the Okada ticket, a customer is walking in and has a load of about maybe 10 orange peels in a nylon that he had just finished eating. And because he has seen those other things, he dumps it there. And one day you come out, what do you see? Welcome. The front of a lovely place has been turned into a refuse dump. Now, there are little areas, gaps in your organizations that would have been easy to fix if you people meet almost every week or every month to review your organizational performance. Yesterday, I shared an example of my wife runs a school, and I shared an example of what they do in the school. Every week, each teacher has an assignment. This child was here this month. At the end of this month, this is what I want this child to be doing. Now, at the beginning of the week, in their weekly meeting, they will call each teacher. This child, how was his performance within the past 5 days, school days? So that they start with the weakest student. Because you as a teacher know that you'll be called to account for the performance of your child that is under you, how do you think you work on that child within the next 5 days? What's the name? Yeah. Christina. So assuming that you're a teacher and you know that every week you'll be asked to give a report on the improvement of a particular child under you, how do you think you work on that child to improve? You just leave the child or you work very hard on the child to improve? The advantage of increasing your sales by having at least a weekly meeting or twice a month meeting is that you can actually catch things going wrong at an early stage.
And identify the ones that are going right.
And the ones that are going right too, you can actually identify them. So weekly meeting can actually help you to know, most importantly, when it comes to your colleague, your weekly meeting can help you now to point out the weaknesses you've noticed in your colleague. In a weekly meeting, for instance, you can say, okay, this is time to tell, in the past 7 days, tell one person or two people the things they did very right and the things they didn't do so well. Now, because you know that you are coming to hear some criticism about your performance, you know that every week you are determined to improve because the mistake of last week, you don't want to repeat it. But if there's nobody coming in within the week to tell you, last week I didn't like the color of your color combination of your shirt and your trouser and your bag, you might think that you are looking so unique. And when people are looking at you when you are passing, you didn't know that they are thinking that is this Lagos masquerade. But you might just assume that you are looking very nice. But if you have a weekly meeting where everybody critiques the other person and say, this is area you need to improve on, this is area that you are actually doing very well. Now, when you are pointed out to area you're doing very well, others will learn from you. And when you are told areas you're not doing so well, you know areas of improvement. But how can you do that if you don't interact with your colleagues on a weekly or bi-weekly basis? So the first point I want you guys to learn and start to do is at least that area of weekly meeting where you review your performance, and also based on the area of weakness you need to improve on and the area of strength that you also need